we are going to be doing an activity with our word sort. So we've been doing meaning and concept sorts, and now we're going to do the orthography word study approach to sorting. So first you have your sets of words that you are wanting the students to study. In our book, it talks about us helping them to create pathways by being able to recognize consistency and patterns, and one of them was placement. So I wanted to do an example from our book about placements. So you have already printed out and cut out our words. We are going to look at them, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hurricane them. And so as I look at them, I want my students and us to pronounce them properly. So we're going to have the boil. And remember that the OI is a glide from one sound to the next, so you want them to practice that. Oi. You hear the O and you hear a light I. Oi, oil. And then I have toy. And in this case, I have the O solid, but I also hear the Y, the Y sound, toy. Now, they are so similar that in pronunciation they may be indicated as the same. So as I am walking through, making sure that we first pronounce words properly, the next thing I'd want them to do is an open sort. And most likely the first way that they are going to sort these sets of words is by noticing that we have an OY, especially if you've already gone through all of the speech part of them, remember pronouncing them correctly. And so they're going to most likely go ahead and notice that the patterns in our sort first is, the OI and the OY. So they most likely will see that. And this is a level 1 sorting, when they can identify and they only sort based off of features of the word study. When they get to a 3, so I like to score them a 3. A 3 is when they can explain more about this. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to be able to go through and talk a little bit more about our words. So as I've pronounced them and we've sorted them, I now want them to start identifying the length of words. So in this case, boil. I'm going to ask them, is it a 1 syllable or more than 1 syllable word? And I'm going to take my pen. Let me grab my pen. I'm going to take my pen and I want them to be able to identify that. So I'm going to put a 1 because boil is 1 syllable. Coin, 1 syllable. Oil, 1 syllable. Ointment. So helping them to either clap this out, put their hand under their chin, but we have ointment. So not only do I want to put a 2 here, but I also want to put where they divide. So we have ointment. Okay, so ointment. Then I'm going to look over here my words, and I have voyage. Voyage. So we're going to put a 2 for 2 syllables, and I also want to put a straight line going down where they are. So boy, or where the syllables are. 1 syllable, toy, 1 syllable, joy, 1 syllable. And then we have oyster, oi. So I'm going to put my mark there, and then stir. So this is 2 syllables. And then employ, and then ploy. So this is 2 syllables. Enjoy, 2 syllables, break parts right there, and then royal. Okay, so after their open sort, I do move into that teacher-directed closed sort. So I've already directed them into doing certain things and to thinking about that. But now I want to close this even more by giving some headers here. So I want us to then look at our words a little bit more. And this time I want us to separate our words into when our pattern, the oi sounding pattern, is in the initial or beginning, when it's in the middle or within, or when the final or at the end. So I'm just now going to take my words again, and now I'm going to sort them one more time. So I noticed that boil, the OI, and here is where you could take a highlighter. So hold on, let me grab my highlighter. And here I want to highlight. I might even have them do it while we say it in syllables. So I noticed that the oi is within the word, so I'm going to put that right there. Coin. Coin is within the word, so we'd want them to highlight it and put them in there. Oil. Oil comes in the initial part. Ointment. Ointment is at the initial. Okay, so we want them to use the same terminology as well. Okay, voyage. My pattern is within the word, so for now I'm going to put that right there. Boy. I'm going to put that right there. Enjoy. My OY is at the end, so in the final position. Royal. It's within the word. And then toy. Toy is at the end. Joy. Joy is at the end. Oyster. Oysters in the beginning. It's located in the beginning. And employ. Oi is at the end. Okay, so again, this might be a level 2. I'm going to actually have them go one step further. So we're going to talk about placements, and this at first is just the sound. So now what I want us to do, so I noticed that that we have oint, because this is an nt here, this initial sound is very offset. So oint is going to, no matter if it is a 1 or 2 syllable word, it is offset in the initial or beginning part. And I want to hold off and talk about oyster in just a second. So when I move into my middle or the within words, I have my boil, 1 syllable, and in the middle, coin, 1 syllable in the middle. And now I have my 2 words. So this is OI and this is OY, but I noticed that, OI, but I noticed that my 2 words, 2 syllables, but they have OY. So I'm going to come back to this in just a second. Sorry. Okay. Now it's very clear that if the OI sound spelled with OY is at the end, this is a regular pattern that when I have the OI, it is going to be at the end of the word spelled with OY. When it is, end of the word, OI. So this is pretty consistent. So when I hear the OY, I am going to know that I'm going to use the letter combination of OY to spell the end or final sound of OI. Now I want to come over and I want to talk about these 3 right here. Okay, so while this was at the beginning, and while this OY is spelled in the middle, because there are 2 syllables, this really does make a difference. So what I know about OY is that if the sound OI is at the end of not just a 1 syllable word, but multi-syllable, if it's at the end of a syllable. So I'm going to write syllable here. If it's at the end of a syllable or the end of a word, I'm actually going to use OY. So here, I'm going to move this to be a subcategory of the final sound of OY because this is the end of a syllable. oi, and then stir. So I get the sound at the end or final, not just of the word, but of a syllable. I'm going to use oy. And then voyage. Again, not just at the end of a word, but the end of the syllable. So voy, when this comes at the end of a syllable. And then royal, at the end of a syllable. Okay, so even though this one over here was 2 syllables, it wasn't at the end of a syllable, and it was in the constant initial part of the word. So that's why we're not going to use this one. So with this word sort, I've given some pathways, some pretty concrete pathways. I know I'm going to use oi to say oi if the sound, remember sound, comes in the beginning part of the word. I'm also going to use oi if I have 1 syllable word and it's within the word as well. And then when I use my oy, is always going to be at the end, the final. It's either at the end of a 1 syllable word or the end of a syllable, multi-syllable word. And that is our word sort.